What is something that I used to believe to be true but no longer do? So honestly, I have a long list. I have to say, I am a serial mind changer, and I'm also a serial quitter, by the way. So I loved Vince Lombardi as a football coach, but I think as a cliche creator, a winner never quits and a quitter never wins. Well, let's define that, okay? If I'm a football coach and you're my left tackle, and I think you're really valuable, and I want to win, I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you a winner never quits and a quitter never wins. In that context, it works. In life, I think we should all quit things a lot more often than we do. The human mind, it turns out, is really good at latching on to preferences, things we like, things we believe in. And there's a thing called the endowment effect, where once we know these preferences are ours, they must be better than other people's. Then we're also really good at seeking out confirmatory evidence that our ideas are correct and better than other people's. And we're also really good at avoiding any evidence that might refute what we believe to be true. This creates a kind of partisan polarization whataboutism that I think is not really very useful. So I'm a big believer in talking to all different kinds of people, looking for all different kinds of data, changing your mind, and also recognizing that time is a big factor in everything. So you may have believed that X was true, but 20 years later, 20 years has a lot of input. So I'll tell you something that I increasingly believe to be less true than I used to, which is that, I love economics, but I only came to love it when I got into the notion of behavioral economics, which was bringing some psychology into the field. Because for many years, the field of economics got very macro, very mathematical, and it wasn't very good at being predictive or descriptive, because it assumed that all humans act 100% rationally all the time. And we know now that that's not true. So that said, I was still a big believer in what you might call the University of Chicago School of Free Market kind of soft libertarianism, that free markets really work great, almost always. And I think that free markets have been an unbelievable success on many dimensions and are often underappreciated on many dimensions. That said, when you're locked into that camp, it's very, very, very easy to overlook the fact that there are a great many people for whom that current system is not working, and that it gets exacerbated because one hallmark of capitalism, what makes it good, is that it creates leverage. Capital is leverage. But there is a point at which when too much leverage accrues in too small a portion of the population, you get siloed off from the way that problems are happening beneath you or in other silos. And so I am much, much, much less confident than I was, let's say, 10 years ago, that the free markets, whatever that means exactly, it needs to be defined better, will, on its own, without really smart governance, without probably really smart activism and so on, will solve all the problems. And I think right now what you're seeing is a kind of big philosophical debate in the universities, but in governments as well. It's why I think we swing. It's why right now, if you look at our political spectrum, the 92% in the middle is pretty much absent. And it's why we're hearing from what you might call the populist right and the extreme left, is because there is that frustration with knowing that the system that we've set up that has been incredibly successful on so many dimensions is really misfiring on a few. And this has been, for me, I wouldn't call it quite a change of mind, but an evolution that took a long time. And what it took for me was talking to a lot of people who are much smarter than I, much more experienced than I in running governments around the world, to see that, you know what, when you're a winner, and look, everyone in this room has won a lot already, a lot, on a lot of dimensions. When you're a winner, it's very easy to, the whole philosophical query about, like, does a fish know it's in water? And we think the answer to that is probably no, because why would they? And when you're winning, when you're financially secure, when you have access to things like healthcare and job opportunity and so on, it's very easy to feel like that's the oxygen that I breathe. It's the oxygen that is breathed everywhere. And so I think that understanding how the economy actually works and what kind of opportunities, not just jobs, but opportunities it's creating on a large scale, especially when you're in an era where automation and technology are real big contributors that some people see as threats and some people see as wonderful opportunity. That, I think, is kind of the challenge of our time. If I had great, easy answers, I would be happy to share them with you. I don't think there are great, easy answers, but I do think that what I'm going to spend the next several years doing is talking more and more to the people who appreciate that as a dilemma and know that we're all better off the more energy and resources we put into addressing that dilemma rather than kind of hoping it will go away. So that's something that I'm working on changing my mind around.